introduce yourself to the camera?
Sure, I'm Ms. Allen. I will be the new Director of Counseling Services.
And I'm Steve Morison, the new Dean of Students. I knew only a little bit about Bulgaria. I'm recently fascinated with medieval history, and Bulgaria plays this really interesting roles in the First and Second and the Fourth Crusade. And I know a little bit about, just the basic about Bulgarian 20th century history. I'm really fascinated by it. This region of Europe has always been interesting to me, so it's really cool to think about moving here.
I knew very little about Bulgaria before I came, and that's partly what made it so exciting to come here and to take the job, because I didn't know very much and I like exploring new places. So I worked at a school in Italy from 2010 to 2014, and so I was going to conferences in Europe, and I learned about ACS at these conferences. Counselors often met each other and talked and went to workshops together. And so ACS was on my radar for the past several years.
This is like the interview process. This is great. As a new person in a role like Dean of Students, I think it would be really smart for me to spend a lot of time listening and learning before I come forward with any sort of grand new plan. And so, I really plan to spend a lot of time talking to students, talking to my peers, other faculty members. I'm a huge fan of student feedback. As much information as I can get, the better. It helps me to be more informed and to get a sense of where the students are opinion-wise. And, as much as possible, it's always been, as a faculty member for 20 years, it's always been my goal to be as transparent as possible. I mean, there's always privacy issues at schools. It's my hope to keep my door open, as often as possible, and I welcome people to come by and introduce themselves and to share with me anything they think I need to know. I'm the Dean of Students, and my work is mostly one-to-one with the student body and the individual students. How the faculty choose to teach your classes, and those decisions are more up to the individual teachers and the administration. But for me, as student center, that phrase to me means trying to take into account the desires and wishes and dreams and passions of my students. When I'm an English teacher, that means giving them opportunity and choices to give them as many choices on, say, a project or a paper as I'm able to, and as they're mature enough to respond to. It really means the freedom of the students to steer the direction of the classroom. And the older the student gets, it seems to me that the more mature they are and the more able they are to have input into their own learning. And really on a practical level, that just means a lot of student-teacher interaction. I mean, I witnessed your student council meeting the last couple days, really. You guys seem passionate, enthusiastic, and filled with ideas, and having great arguments. So all that thing to me is student-centered. The students are governing, and that there's a teacher sort of watching in an advisory role. They're not just watching.
Yes.
Right? So.
I hope that the department will be a place where students feel like they can get support for problems, for questions, both emotional, social, college and university related. That was a brilliant idea on Dr. Ewing's part to bring me here this week so I can start getting to know the school, the people I'll be working with, and the students. I'll also be talking with the current counselors, whom I actually met years ago and have known for a few years, and talking about the systems in place now, beginning to read student records so that I can really get to know the rising seniors and a little bit the juniors as well. First thing students need to do is learn about themselves. Do you think you might like a large university? Do you think you might like a small college? One in a city, one in the countryside? Where are you and your parents talking about you going? Sort of close by, like in Europe, UK, US, Canada, further away. Where are you considering? And of course, there are always financial concerns. And then gradually together, we put together a list. It's a team effort. So The student will do research, I'll do research, parents will probably do some research, and we'll keep talking about the list. Juniors should expect to meet 3 times in the junior spring, and seniors 3 times in the senior fall, individually. Then we'll be meeting in smaller groups in terms of who's applying to the UK, let's talk about that application. Who's applying to the US, let's talk about that application. There are a lot of things seniors can do. One thing they can do is write rough drafts of all their applications so that when they arrive in September, they are not starting fresh. They have rough drafts for everything. Then they meet with their counselor to revise those rough drafts. The other thing they can do is something productive to follow their interests. There's such a variety of things that you can do. Some of them might cost a lot of money and involve going far away, but you don't have to do that. You can do something right in your own home. You can do volunteer work in your city. You can get a summer job. You can do an internship. Something productive.
How do you plan to start getting to know the students once you come here officially?
By getting out of my office and onto the campus and greeting and meeting people, by sharing lunch with students, by attending athletic events, by going to debate competitions, by seeing you guys in all the different facets of your day as much as I can, as much as time and schedule permits. But that'll be a start. And then, once I'm here, I'm hoping to create maybe some more creative opportunities. I don't know, teas, dinners, we'll see.
Band playing.
Did I leave out band playing?
You are going to bring your guitar.
Oh, right, but that's I want to watch the students. I don't need them to watch me.
Don't be shy.